We were leaving the room and Johnny left the room before I did, and there had been a rainstorm. And as I left the room, I slid down the stairs and I hurt my back.
How did you? And I apologize, Ms. Moss. Please continue.
And I screamed because I was because I didn't know what had happened to me and I was in pain. And he came running back to help me and carried me to my room and got me medical attention.
That was Kate Moss, the British supermodel, and really she's like British royalty, testifying at the defamation trial between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard just in the last 6 weeks or so. And this was crucial testimony for Johnny Depp because Amber Heard had testified that she had heard that Kate Moss had been tossed down a set of stairs by Johnny Depp when they were dating in the 1990s. And she really painted this picture of someone who had abused other women, particularly Kate Moss. And Kate Moss was asked at the trial why she decided to testify.
Why did you decide to testify today?
Objection, Your Honor.
All right.
That's beyond the scope of what we just talked about.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
And you saw that Amber Heard's attorney, Benjamin Rottenborn, objected. So Kate Moss didn't get to answer that question, but she is answering that question now. She spoke out about this in an interview with BBC Radio. Here's what she had to say.
I believe in the truth and I believe in fairness and justice. I know the truth about Johnny. I know he never kicked me down the stairs. I had to say that truth.
And joining me to talk about this is Katherine Lizardo. She's a plaintiff's attorney out of Texas. And Katherine followed every single step of the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial, just like I did. We followed it together. We followed it with you guys. And now we're following everything that's happening post-trial. Katherine, first of all, Kate Moss would never have been allowed to testify had it not been for Amber Heard basically bringing her up in her testimony.
Exactly. And we remember that infamous Ben Chew fist bump that everyone was talking about and was wondering, why did he have that reaction? And I mentioned that he didn't have the poker face because that gave us an indication that something big was about to happen. And that is Amber Heard just opened the door for prior bad acts testimony. And prior bad acts means that things that you did that could not be presented in front of the jury are generally not allowed because they're prejudicial. But because of Amber Heard's testimony that Kate Moss supposedly was thrown down the stairs by Johnny Depp, that allowed Johnny Depp's team to go ahead and introduce Kate Moss's testimony. I remember a lot of people weren't sure if that was even possible because, again, prior bad acts are not supposed to be let in. A lot of people are questioning, can they even get Kate Moss in? Later on the trial, we find out that there was actually a hearing about prior bad acts and specifically something like this. And Judge Escarati ruled we can't bring that in unless someone opens the door. And so, and behold, Amber Heard did just exactly that. That's why Kate Moss was able to come in.
And really, you know, it's almost like a non-bad act to me because Kate Moss got on the stand and said, that is not true. That is not at all what happened. I slipped and fell. He picked me up and got me medical care. Also, this opened the door for Johnny Depp's team to then call Beverly Leonard, the police officer who arrested Amber Heard on that domestic violence charge. It was later dropped at the Seattle airport, and it had to do with an incident involving her ex. So it opened the door for Johnny Depp to be able to say, I didn't do that. I didn't throw Kate Moss down a set of stairs. It then opened the door for his team to present evidence that Amber Heard had some abusive incidents in her past.
Exactly. Those were two doors opened by Amber Heard with that just one testimony. And you're right. It's very important that we point out that Johnny Depp did not push Kate Moss down. So it's not really a prior bad act by Johnny Depp, but because Amber Heard made it sound that way, it allowed Johnny Depp's team to bring in Kate Moss as a rebuttal. And I remember Ben Chew actually did an interview post-trial, after trial, saying that it gave them a lot of pressure to bring in Kate Moss because she's very private. But Kate Moss wanted to testify and she agreed to testify voluntarily.
And it's my understanding, Katherine, that they didn't ask her. Kate Moss approached them. That's my understanding of how it happened. That's how upset she was by this. Mm-hmm. Final thoughts?
Yes, I think it's very interesting, her recent interview with Lauren Laverne of the BBC radio show, because we saw how Ben Chew was not able to actually get an answer to the question as to why she testified, and you play that here. I thought it was brilliant in terms of she now got to answer that months later as to why she came and testified. And I love how she said that she believed in the truth and she believed in fairness and justice. That's why she came out, because she knew Johnny Depp did not push her down the stairs, which actually leads me to a second final thought, if I may, which is Johnny Depp testified in his rebuttal case that he actually told Amber Heard the truth about what happened with him and Kate Moss, and yet she was on the stand and still said that Johnny Depp threw down Kate Moss. If that's not lying blatantly on the stand, I don't know what is. So very interesting to know. Maybe that's one of the reasons why the jury found actual malice on Amber Heard, because that's intentionally saying something wrong and just perjurous, I believe.
And that's a really good point, Katherine, because he did say that she twisted it and that he had told her about it. Thank you again, as always, for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Anjanette. My pleasure.